Hey there, I'm Kat, and this is Brews and Reviews. So yeah, I'm doing another tag video, and what? Actually, this is probably a little bit late going up. I couldn't really do any editing without having my computer, and now that I have a new computer, I can do that. So here's this mid-year book check-in tag, slightly after mid-year. Well, technically only slightly after mid-year because I'm filming this on July 1st, so technically it's like almost exactly mid-year. We'll go with that. So I was tagged by the restricted section, and the original tag was created by Harriet Rosie and Dane Reeds. I'll link everybody down below in the description. I'm gonna get straight into this because this is a heat wave, it's hot, and the lights are roasting me alive right now, so I don't want to die, so let's get straight into it. So question number 1 is, how many books have you read this year? At this point in time, I've read 58 books this year, and I'm quite proud of that. I think I'm about 9 books ahead of my goal, because I want to read 100 books in the year, and I feel good. Especially because in the month of July I have 2 readathons coming up, at least, maybe 3, and I'm hoping to knock out a fair few more books then. Question number 2 is, what is your favourite book that you've read this year? So for this one I have 2. They're escaping. So for this one I have 2. One, funnily enough, they are both conclusion to trilogies that I just kind of fell in love with and just really enjoyed. So the first one is Morningstar by Pierce Brown, which is the final book in the Red Rising trilogy. I couldn't think of a more perfect ending. It was so perfect, and I just really enjoyed it. It's a sci-fi dystopian about a rebellion, and I'm not going to tell you too much about this book, but I just really like the end. I thought it was kind of perfect, so. And the second book that I'm going to count in this as well, because I just can't help myself, because these two are just kind of on par in my head, and I love them so much, and that is Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. I just finished this one last month, and I had such a book hangover after this. I loved it so much. The Darkling is becoming, I think, in my head, he's growing as one of my favourite characters, and I just love him. I just want more Darkling, and but he's not appearing in any other books apart from these, apparently. I'm just sad about it, because I love him. And I shouldn't, though, because he's but you know, I do. Both of these books are just fabulous, and this is the conclusion to the Grisha trilogy, and I just love it so much. Question number 3 is, what is the most disappointing book you've read this year? Cooper, don't knock the thing. Sorry, the cat is knocking the tripod. You guys are just going to have to get used to that, because he just likes to sit under it. So the most disappointing book that I have read this year is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir, because I really expected it to be good. I really did. I really enjoyed the first one. It was great. I really enjoyed how dark it was. I liked most of the characters aside from one of the perspective characters, which I didn't enjoy. But anyway, I still didn't enjoy her in Torch Against the Night, and I didn't enjoy one of the other characters. I only liked one character in that book, and even that character was she just couldn't seem to get anything right. Things just seemed to happen to her, and everyone else seemed to be one step ahead. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not actually how it works, though. And the villains were no longer scary. They were just like, haha, I did this before you could do this. And it was like, what? What? I don't... So I was really disappointed in that book. I was kind of like, I really tried hard to like it, and I had to push myself to actually finish it rather than DNFing it. So, I mean, at this point in time, I don't know if I'm going to continue with this series, because I'm just hoping it's going to get better. I don't think it's going to get better. So, I might just DNF the series. Who knows? I just found it really disappointing. Question number 4 is, what genre have you read the most of this year? I'm going to say fantasy and young adult fantasy. So I'm going to mix the two together, because I've been reading a lot of heroic fantasy with the David Gemmell books that I'm doing, and just other heroic fantasy books that I've been reading. but also YA type, fantasy type worlds. I've been doing a lot of that. I guess that kind of counts because I don't really class YA as a genre, because there's like, it's just an age bracket. So I'm going to go with fantasy. Question number 5. Name a new favourite author that you've discovered this year. So I'm going to go with Peng Shepherd. I've never read anything of hers before because The Book of M is her first book. And oh my god, what a debut. It's so good. Like, so good. I'm obsessed with that book right now. I just want to read it again, and I want to get as many people as I can to read it because it's so fantastic. I really like how she like crafted the story and the characters that she created. I feel like they were really, like, you really wanted to care about them, and everything that was happening to them was just so heartbreaking. There's like a sister-sister relationship in that book that just it made me cry. It was like just like the feelings, like the familial feelings, and I was like, oh, I love it. As well as like, obviously this heartbreaking things happens because one of the main plot points in this is that people forget things. They basically lose all of their memories until they know nothing. Like, and one of the characters that you follow is going through that, and it's like, so it's just this like heartbreaking thing, and I just think she's brilliant, and I cannot wait to see her next book. I need to have a physical copy of the Book of M because I just need it. Question number 6. What is the most surprisingly good book that you've read this year? So I'm actually going to go with Our Doris by Charles Heathcote. Charles is a fellow booktuber. I don't know if you've heard me talk about this book before, but like, since I read it, I'm basically just need to sing its praises more and more because it just made me laugh, and it was really funny, and I kind of needed a funny book at the time, and it just was exactly what I needed. So I was expecting to like this book, but I wasn't expecting to love this book. I rarely go into a book expecting to love it these days because I so often do not love a book. I so often have things just not turn out the way I want. But like this one, there's something about like old people characters. Like, elderly people are so underrepresented in things, and like there is so much humor to be derived from elderly people because they do crazy shit. Like, if you ever like talk to like old people, like you're like, what? That, and the way that they view the world is completely different, and the way that Doris and Harold view the world is just hilarious, and I can't recommend that book enough. Just, if you want to read about hilarious old people, check that one out. Question number 7. What are your favourite and most anticipated releases of 2018? Okay, so my favourite release of 2018 is The Book of M by Peng Shepherd, which I've already talked about, so I'm not going to talk about that again. And my most anticipated, I have 2 for this one. So one is Ink Mistress by Audrey Coulthurst. I have only read Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst, but I really like the relationship in that. It was an FF romance, and yeah, I'm all for that. So I think something similar, I think it's also an FF romance in Ink Mistress, which is set in the same world but completely unrelated to what happens in On Fire and Stars, so I want to see where that goes. And the other book that I am super excited for, which I'm pretty sure comes out very soon in July, and that is Nyxia Unleashed by Scott Rankin. Did you guys see how like crazy I went for Nyxia when I first read it? I literally read it in like a day and a bit. I think I read it in a day and a bit. It was either a day or a day and a bit. And it's so good. It's a sci-fi where like these group of teenagers go on an expedition, and they're sort of competing to go onto this planet. But basically they have to be teenagers because the alien race on that planet will kill adults. So there's an actual reason for them to be teenagers, which I quite like, because often I'm like, why is these people teenagers? Don't you trust the fate of the world to teenagers? But in this one you kind of have to, so. But it's really good. It's definitely worth checking out. I found, like, it was just a really intriguing and interesting story, and I just want to see where it goes, because it left it on like a note. It left it on this note, and I'm like, I just need to see what happens, so I can't wait for that one to come out. Question number 8. What's your next big priority for your reading? So I've got a couple here, so I want to do more readathons because I feel like they help me engage with the community and just make me feel really good about the reading. Like, I feel really accomplished when I do a readathon because it drives me to actually like be involved and complete tasks, and I'm like, yay, I did that one, I've completed that task, yeah. So I feel really good about it. So I want to do more readathons, and I'm going to be doing that, like a couple in July, so we'll see how that goes. I also want to finish a bunch of series that I've started. It's going alright. I've got a few more on a list that I want to complete, and then I'll think that that is done. But like, so far there's quite a few still I have yet to complete. I have this horrible habit. I have this horrible habit of starting a book, a series where I'll start the first one and then I just won't read the next ones. But I want to. I just don't. Like, I struggle to read things in order. Why? I don't know. So the other thing that I want to do is start some new book series. There are a couple of new book series that I have been wanting to start for so long and I just haven't, and I need to. So I'm planning to do that. The first one of which is the Raven Boys series. I have not read that one and I want to start. Question number 9. What has been your bookish highlight of the year? So for me, that's probably just BookTube in general. I've really enjoyed being on BookTube. I really enjoyed making videos. I really just enjoyed being here. Like, it really feels good. Also, I've loved having my bookshelves back because being without my bookshelves when I was living at my parents' house was just not a good time, and now they're here and I can look at them all day and night and just be like, oh, book heaven. Another highlight for me is that I got my first ARC on NetGalley. I'm getting a few ARCs on NetGalley and like, it's really fun. For some reason I just really think that's a load of fun and like, it's exciting. So yeah, that. Question 10. Who do you tag? So I'm aware that it is past the mid-year now, technically. By the time this goes up, it definitely will be. So I'm going to tag some people, and if they don't do it, I'm not going to be sad about it, because I understand. Also, if you've already done it, like, tell me off. So for this one, I'm going to tag Bookish Cheryl, Mystery Date with a Book, Stacks on Stacks on Stacks, Sassy Ginger Book Obsession, and French Toast and Books. So if you guys have done this tag, or if you guys did the mid-year book freak out instead, like, you know, I won't be sad if you don't do it, but like, I'd like to hear your answers. So if you do want to give this one a go, then please do. And also, anybody watching this, please give it a go if you actually fancy it. It's fun. So that's it for the tag. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!